San Francisco is a beautiful, dynamic, diverse, and frankly magical city. People come here to visit and fall in love all the time. I have friends who have fallen in love with this city after just one visit and have moved here. I have friends who have also moved away. It was time for them to go. But a lot of people, after just one visit, decide San Francisco is the place to live. That may be you. You may have come here and decided you love it here, you want to live here. You may be relocating for work, or you want to be close to your family. But you're also checking out and trying to figure out, is it worth it? Well, that's something we should talk about. My name is David Manch. I'm a realtor in San Francisco, and I live in San Francisco. If you want content like this that's showing you life and living in San Francisco, hit subscribe and you'll be first to know all about living in San Francisco. We're going to talk about the neighborhoods. We're going to teach neighborhoods so you can have an idea, do I want to live there? I'll show you what's special and different about each neighborhood. And then I'll also go over different price points so you can find out, is that neighborhood affordable to you? Not all neighborhoods are affordable for everybody, and there's different reasons to live in each neighborhood. So on my channel, we'll discuss that a little bit more. San Francisco is 49 square miles. It's really small. It's one of the most densely populated cities in the United States. And there are officially 36 neighborhoods. Unofficially, there's about 90. And so there's a lot of different places to live. There's a lot of different things about San Francisco. Some of the neighborhoods are very densely packed. Other ones feel so suburban. And on this channel, we're going to delve into that a little bit more. But we have to ask the question, is San Francisco worth living in? So I think we should get into it and decide whether it is worth it for you. For me, I love it. I love living in San Francisco, but for you, that may not be it. So let's talk about the top 4 or 5 items that people really, really want to talk about when they're talking about whether they want to live in San Francisco or not. When people are trying to decide if they actually want to live in San Francisco, I think the top reason that most people would have an issue with living in San Francisco is the cost of living. San Francisco is the 4th most expensive city in the United States to live in. It's also in the top 15 cities in the entire world for cost of living. It's 67% more expensive to live in San Francisco than it is the average US city. And one of the reasons that it is like this is mostly is housing. Housing is a huge contributor for the cost of living in San Francisco. To rent an apartment in San Francisco, renting an apartment or a house in San Francisco, the average cost of rent in San Francisco is over $3,700 a month. And for that price, depending on where you live, once again, it's always going to be where you live, how updated the unit is, amenities nearby. All those factors are going to come in on the price and what you're going to get for that average price. Of course, there's going to be a lot more. I have friends who are living in the Mission District that for $3,700 a month, it's a 650 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath updated apartment. I also know people who spend $6,000 a month in a newer building. I think it's only about 10 years old, and they're spending $6,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So it varies widely, but it's expensive. It's just truly expensive. And if you think that's bad, the cost of a home in San Francisco, the median price of the cost of home is $1.4 million. A lot of people in different parts of the country are going to look at that and think, oh my goodness, that's a lot. Well, actually in San Francisco, that's kind of okay. And I know that doesn't sound it, but it is. There's some very expensive properties in San Francisco. The most expensive property ever sold in San Francisco was in Pacific Heights, and it was somewhere around $71 million. So if that tells you exactly how expensive things are in San Francisco, that's a good way. So the neighborhoods that you're going to go in, that's going to matter. Here's another little tidbit on that. Having a garage, if a property has a garage, that can add $200,000 to $300,000 to the price of a home. So housing is a huge factor for cost of living in San Francisco. But the other things are as well. Groceries are 23% higher than the rest of the nation. Utilities are 48% higher than in the rest of the country. Insurance is high, healthcare is high. It's expensive to live in San Francisco. Relocate me They had a report, and a family of 4 living in San Francisco, it would cost over $11,000 a month just to meet the basics. That's not living a great life. That's just basically that's for a family of 4. For a single person, for every month, it's just a little over $4,600 a month. Yeah, it's a little cheaper because you're living by yourself and you just take care of yourself. But so the average monthly cost for a person in San Francisco between the family and a single, it's a little over $8,000 a month. That is a lot. All this is pretty mind-bending, but it's San Francisco. Other parts of the country, it's so much cheaper. You can go to Dallas, and Dallas, you can get a brand new home there for a little over $400,000. It's 3,000 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, brand new build. So one of the reasons for this is because it's a supply and demand game. San Francisco, we don't have a lot of supply. We don't have a lot of land. Other cities like Dallas, they have a lot of land. They can expand out. And when you have more supply, that brings the price down. We don't have that in San Francisco. We don't have a lot of new builds, and when we do, they're going to be condos, and they're going to go up pretty high. And that's usually where we get a lot of our new build. Or you're going to have new build where you have older buildings that are taken down to the studs and completely rebuilt. Those get pretty expensive as well. So a supply and demand issue has a lot to do with why it's so expensive. So a little thing that I came across, there's over 300,000 millionaires in San Francisco. In a population that's 850, that's a lot of millionaires. I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of value in the properties, when there are properties that are over $1 million, and that's part of their net worth. So it sounds like San Francisco is filled with rich people. Well, there's a lot of people that have money there, but at the same time, we have a lot of people that are under the poverty line. I think it's about 16% that are under the poverty line. So there are some inequities that are at play in San Francisco, but it's expensive there. So I agree with you. San Francisco is expensive. The cost of living here is so high. But there's a flip side to that. San Francisco also has the highest median income in the country, almost $147,000. That is also great earning power. One of the reasons that San Francisco does have such high incomes is because we're the headquarters for a lot of artificial intelligence companies, tech companies. We have Google, we have Apple, we have a lot of biotech here, financial services. A lot of these companies are headquartered here. They have a lot of employees here. And when they have the employees here, they know it's expensive in San Francisco as well. And so to get the great talent to come to San Francisco and work with them, they've got to pay them for that. The median household income in San Francisco is 80% higher than the national average. So if you had 2 people that work for one of the tech companies, financial services, whatever happens to be here, and that's a 2-income household, they're going to live pretty well in San Francisco, even with how high the costs are here. They can buy the homes. They can buy the more expensive homes, not just the little condos that are $800,000. Yes, we do have condos that are under $1 million. There's quite a few, as a matter of fact. But they can afford to live here much better. Even single people that are coming here and if they're making $150,000, they're living okay. They're not rich, but they can afford it. But they're going to be usually people who rent more, or once again, like I said, they're going to buy the smaller properties not in Pacific Heights, but they can live here as well, and they can live well here. So there's a flip side to it. Yes, it's expensive, but yes, people get paid a whole lot more here. The next issue that people have with whether San Francisco is worth it is crime. San Francisco is a big city, and big cities always have a little bit of a problem with crime, or a lot of a problem with crime. It's kind of endemic in what happens in the big cities. Where you live, I'm sure there's crime issues there as well. Probably not the same that a bigger city will have, but you're going to have your issues as well. And San Francisco has just happened to have gotten a lot of PR about its crime. Not too long ago, a few years back, there was a lot of talking about car break-ins or people who decide to visit San Francisco, and they come in and get to the airport, rent their car, put their luggage in the back. They take off out of the airport and decide, oh, I'm hungry. And so they stop and get something to eat. Well, as soon as they get inside, somebody else who had followed them smashes the window out, takes all their luggage, and they're gone. And that really makes for a really bad vacation. So car break-ins have been a big problem in San Francisco. For those of us who live here and we do park on the streets, we don't leave anything in the car. Not a stick of gum, not a pen, nothing. People would break the windows and get whatever they could. So we just leave nothing in the car. It's bad because, they wouldn't have gotten anything, but you have to replace that window. So that's been a problem, and that was newsworthy. All the store grabbing, you'd have groups of people that would go in, not to just like the Target or the Walgreens. They went to some of the higher end stores in Union Square and they stole a lot of stuff. That was all over the news as well. Robberies, things like that. So San Francisco has gotten a lot of bad press about its crime. And this not only hurts the people of San Francisco who are victims of this crime, but it ruined the tourism. And San Francisco does rely a lot on tourism. But here's the truth. The crime in San Francisco has plummeted pretty substantially recently. 2024 had the lowest crime in 23 years. Then the first quarter of 2025, property crime was down 45% from 2024. Violent crime is down 14% from 2024, and the car break-ins are down by over half. San Francisco has worked really, really hard to work on the crime issue because, once again, it's not just bad for us, the residents, but it's bad for tourism and also for people who want to move to San Francisco, but they're scared, they're afraid. I don't have an issue myself with the crime. I've never had my windows broken. I don't have fear walking through almost every neighborhood in San Francisco. There's a few that I'd like to avoid. And even at night, there's times, that I've walked at night in some of the neighborhoods. Not all neighborhoods will I do that, no. But I don't think that's any different than any other city. And now that San Francisco is actually working really, really diligently to cut down the crime, I think San Francisco has become even a more safe place to live, a safe place to visit, and it is worthy of living here. As I said, I feel safe. I know a lot of people that do feel safe, and San Francisco has worked on this crime. So, yeah, I think it's not nearly as bad as everybody thinks. I think the perception has to change, and the perception has to catch up to the reality in San Francisco. Yeah, it's San Francisco, I think, is for overall, I think it's pretty safe. So now let's talk about another issue, and one of my favorites, traffic. Traffic is not good in San Francisco. I can't fight that one at all. You don't have to have a car to live in San Francisco. You really don't. Great transportation here, but a lot of people do have cars. I have a car. For my work, I need a car, but I also don't absolutely have to. But if you're going to have a car, there are issues that go with it. San Franciscans spent over 81 hours in traffic last year. It's the 6th worst in the country. It's not so bad on the streets, but the freeways get pretty impacted. It was better during the pandemic and a couple of years after it because a lot of people moved out of San Francisco during the pandemic. The tech companies allowed a lot of the workers to work from home. I know a lot of people that moved to the Valley, Sacramento. Some even moved as far away as Tahoe. And because it was also cheaper for them, buying a house outside of San Francisco, they were able to get great deals. But after that, they're required to come in and work more. And so traffic is getting even worse in San Francisco. I don't really feel the streets. The streets can get a little impacted, but I don't think they're bad. What I find really bad is the freeways. The freeways are almost rush hour all day, it seems like, and it's not just Monday through Friday. This past weekend, I had to go across the bay to Oakland, and it was a Saturday, and getting out of San Francisco was so slow. And then when I had to turn around and coming back into San Francisco over the Bay Bridge, it was so slow. It was worse than the day before when I crossed the bridge during a weekday. So it feels like it's rush hour all the time. It's worse going from East Bay into San Francisco than South Bay. And the reason is because you have a lot of East Bay residents who work in San Francisco and they drive in. The Bay Bridge has over 260,000 cars cross it a day. You have all these communities in the East Bay that just all come through, and they have to cross the Bay Bridge. And sometimes commute times, depending on how far you live from San Francisco and you're going to move into San Francisco, or you're going to drive into San Francisco, it can be hours sometimes. It can be pretty brutal. Also going down to South Bay, where you have Google and Apple and other tech companies down there, the commute down to South Bay is also pretty brutal. So the freeways get really, really impacted. So having a car and you're going to commute can be tough. One of the things San Francisco does have that makes this a little easier is the public transportation in San Francisco. I think it's amazing. It's I think it's over 70% of people in San Francisco rate the transit in San Francisco as good or excellent. We have BART, which is Bay Area Rapid Transit, and that comes from the East Bay communities, and comes over and goes under the bay and brings people into San Francisco. So there's a lot of people who aren't commuting in their cars, and they're getting into San Francisco that way. So that's really good. San Francisco also has Muni Metro, which is our underground. So it goes underneath Market. There's 4 or 5 lines that go into Market, and then they come up and they turn into kind of a light rail service, and they go out to the outer communities of San Francisco. So, and then the bus service in San Francisco is amazing. Everything is on time, and there's lots coming. If you miss one, there's always another one to come. So the transit in San Francisco works really, really well. So you don't absolutely have to have a car, or even if you want a car, but you don't want to commute with it, that's totally possible as well. So you decide whether you want a car or no car. It's just very, very walkable. Another problem with it that kind of goes with the traffic is parking. Parking in San Francisco is not fun. I don't have a garage, and so I have to find street parking. If I'm really lucky, I get to park right in front of my place. But that doesn't happen often, so I'm usually parking within 2 to 3 blocks. So if you don't have a garage, you're gonna have to find street parking. They also have parking lots that you can lease a spot in there. It's usually fenced, so it's protected in the evenings. That's usually about $350 a month that you can have parking. You have dedicated parking instead of running around trying to find a parking spot. So leasing that. So it's, I said, but also, as I said earlier, adding a garage, that can add $200,000 to $300,000 to the price of a home. So I know people, I've worked with people who are like, it's worth it to me. They'll take it. Parking and traffic, it's not a lot of fun. And there's not much I can say about that, except I don't have much fun with it either. The next thing that people really have an issue of whether San Francisco is worth it or not is the homeless and transient population. The homeless issue in San Francisco, it's been covered nationally as well, and there's no denying that this is an issue. A lot of it, a big portion of it is concentrated in the mid-market section of San Francisco, Civic Center area, but that doesn't mean it's not in the rest of the neighborhood. It is everywhere. Yeah, there's times you come outside and there's a tent across the street. It's everywhere, and it's just a problem that's in California especially. There's not much you can do about it personally. You just kind of look at it. San Francisco is working really hard on this issue as well. They're trying to build more buildings to shelter the homeless. The number of tent sleepers has been cut down by about 13%. There's a lot of different social programs, and San Francisco is working really hard on this. It's not an issue that can be just taken care of overnight. This is a long-term issue, and it's going to be in San Francisco for a while. I don't feel threatened by the homeless. It's a little weird sometimes, and it's sad. It's a very sad issue, but it's something we kind of live with, and it is actually getting better. It was another issue that during the pandemic, it was really, really bad, and the streets were pretty dirty because of this. But once again, it is getting better. I can't say anything more than that, is that it is slowly, incrementally getting better, but it's something we just, as San Franciscans, we just put up with for the time being and hope that this does get resolved quickly. Let's talk about the weather now too, because a lot of people, they wonder what's up with San Francisco weather. San Francisco weather is San Francisco weather. A lot of people come and visit in the summertime, and because that's, most tourism happens a lot in the summertime. San Francisco summers are cold, and a lot of people wonder what's up with San Francisco weather. They're cold and they can be foggy in the summertime. One of the reasons for that is, by the way, is that in the valley, the Sacramento Valley, it gets really, really hot in the Sacramento Valley. And when that air heats up, it rises. When it rises up, it has to pull in air from somewhere else, and it pulls it in from the bay, and the bay pulls it in from the ocean. And that fog covers San Francisco. So there's a scientific reason for it, but it doesn't make it any better. San Francisco is mostly, we run about 60 degrees all year round. So it's never very, very cold. And yeah, we do get fog, but it's also different areas of San Francisco have different weather. We have the microclimates. So depending on what neighborhood you live in is what weather you're going to have. So the eastern portions of the city are a whole bunch more sunny. We get a lot more sun in the eastern portions. In the middle, right around the western, it's hit and miss. And the western portions of San Francisco, they're generally a lot colder and foggier all the time. So we have those microclimates. You dress accordingly. I don't wear a coat at all during the year. It doesn't get really cold enough for me to wear a coat. I wear hoodies. In the summertime, I'll wear a lighter hoodie, and when it's winter or summertime, actually, I'll wear a thicker one. But when it's a lot less cold, I'll wear a thinner one. And so, and except September and October. By the way, September and October, that's when it gets hot in San Francisco. And when it does get hot, most people don't have air conditioning. Most buildings don't have air conditioning, and we have to suffer. It's about 2 weeks in the fall that it's just so hot, and sleeping is hard because it's just so hot. So that's if you want to come to San Francisco and you want to wear shorts and enjoy some really great sun, come September, October, it'll be there for you. So yeah, it's just weather. I'm not sure why everybody has such a problem with it, but I enjoy it. We get rain like everybody else does, and we have the fog occasionally. And once again, it just depends on where you are and where you live. And so if you want a sunny area, buy or live in a sunny area. The weather, I think, is beautiful. One thing about San Francisco that I really have to talk about is the food. There is so many different types of food in San Francisco. There are 5-star experiences that will knock your socks off. And then there's even the hole in the wall, little places that have some of the best food. And it's any type of food that you want. There's so many different cultures in San Francisco, and they bring their food with them. So dining out in San Francisco, although, once again, cost of living, right? Even though it's not the cheapest, it's really amazing. The food in San Francisco is, I can't beat it. I've traveled quite a bit, and food in San Francisco, eating out in San Francisco is such a great experience. The different neighborhoods, I'll go to different neighborhoods just for different restaurants because they have that restaurant in that neighborhood. And you'll find that throughout the city. It's there's no one spot to go eat. Dining out in San Francisco is a great adventure, and it's something you have to try. Whether you live here or you're visiting, dining out in San Francisco is something you just can't miss. So I think we covered the majority of drawbacks that most people have when it comes to San Francisco. And so you still ask yourself, is San Francisco worth it? Absolutely. San Francisco is just an amazing city. As I said, it's vibrant. It has diverse cultures. There's a great, strong job market and a wonderful quality of life with a variety of things to do. With that job market, a lot of people who are coming here, if they have to relocate for their job, they've usually have already talked to whoever is going to hire them, and the salary negotiations have happened. They know they're going to make enough money that they can live here. As far as the traffic and things, we have excellent public transportation, BART, meaning Metro. The museums here are amazing. We have Museum of Modern Art, the Natural Science Museum, Golden Gate Park, the De Young, the Asian Art Museum, the Walt Disney Family Museum, the Legion of Honor. We have so much great cultural activities here, and we have a great melting pot of cultures. The festivals, you have Beta Breakers. It's a very quirky event. It just happened this last weekend. It's a marathon, very short marathon, and people dress up in it. Not just the people who are running, but the people who go to see it. North Beach has their festivals. Carnival is in the Mission District. Chinese New Year, Fleet Week happens for a week every fall. So there's so much going on here. neighborhoods, each one has something going on all the time. So there's always something to do here. People love going to these events and they're wonderful. And I haven't seen these in other cities. Also, the beauty of San Francisco is amazing. One thing that San Francisco does really, really well is the green belts and the parks and being able to nature type things. They're all over. Golden Gate Park, it's a jewel. Golden Gate Park is such a great place. It's a huge park that has so many different activities and different music events, and there's so much to see. Of course, we have all the tourism things. We have Alcatraz, Pier 39, Wharf, everything like that. So there's a lot to do here. And if you want to get outside of San Francisco, there's so much to do. Going North Bay, you have some of the most beautiful beaches, crossing the Golden Gate Bridge and going up Highway 1 there. It's some of the most beautiful coastline I've ever seen. If you want to go south, there's Monterey, Carmel, a great little drive, and I think it's like 4 hours to Big Sur. It's amazing. If you ski, go east. There's some great skiing that's only 3 hours away. Tahoe, same, it's only 3 hours away. Yellowstone, if you haven't been, you really need to go. That's 4 hours away. So there's so many things that are so close by and that you don't have to stay in San Francisco. That you can get to so many places so fast, and there's great hiking just on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. There's Marin, and there's great hiking there. There's great hiking in San Francisco as well. In fact, there's the San Francisco Crosstown Trail, and there's actually 2 of them. They kind of go like that, and you can hike. It's an all-day event, and some of it's really hard. There's a lot of hills in San Francisco, and so you can get on at different parts. But there's a hike that goes from the south to the north, going from southwest to northeast, or from southeast to northwest. So there's a lot of hiking, or even just urban hikes on the streets in San Francisco. Just take a day and just go hiking in San Francisco, in the city itself. The walkability is crazy good in San Francisco. There's so much to just walk around and see. And then we have a beach. One of the things I really love to do is I love to get on the J, so it's the NJUTA train. And for me, I could pick it up 5 minutes from my place, and in 15 minutes, I'm at the ocean, and I can spend the day at the ocean, take the dog and walk. It doesn't matter. It's really great. So San Francisco is an amazing city. Education is really good. The public schools in San Francisco they're really good. For the University of California, the San Francisco schools, they have a higher amount of high school graduates going to the UC campuses than the other communities around San Francisco. So the schools here are good as well. We have UC San Francisco, we have San Francisco State, we have community colleges. There's so much. San Francisco has so much to offer. So I can go on and on about San Francisco. I truly can. It's such an amazing city. It's a great place to explore. It's a wonderful place to visit. It truly, truly is a wonderful place to visit, but it's actually an amazing place to live. So if you're thinking about moving to San Francisco and you have any questions, you want to talk, you want to know more about it, give me a call. Text me, you can email me, call, doesn't matter. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to give you more information about San Francisco. So give it a shot. It's a great city. Thanks for watching. See you next time.